That's Kyle Hiscock right there. Man, let me tell you, this guy knows what he's doing. We got Tyler Zay from Easy Agent Pro. A lot of you guys know Tyler already. Tyler, if you could raise your hand, there you go. There's Tyler up there. And Tyler's got Kelvin with him. So Kelvin, tell us your last name, Kelvin.
I'm Krupiak.
Right on. All right, so we're just going to stick with Kelvin.
Yeah, exactly. I'm used to it.
Right on. And then we've got Bill on the call as well. And Bill does not have a camera working. And Tara's trying to make an announcement here. Go ahead, Tara.
Can you send the link to Tristan? Because whenever it's easy.
Okay, so apparently Tristan Ahumada with Lab Coat Agents is trying to get on, and he's having a hard time getting on. So I'm going to have to go ahead and send him an invite. And so I'm sending this to Tristan as we speak. So give me just a second. And then today what we're talking about is we're talking about these blog strategies. So what I want to do is I want to just get started while I'm getting Tristan logged in here. I want to get started by just asking you guys in the audience, do me a favor and just type in any questions you guys have on blogging. We want to make sure that you guys are involved. We want to make sure that we're answering your questions, and we want to make sure that's pertinent for whatever it is that you're struggling with, whatever it is you want to learn about. And in the meantime, we're going to start off with Tyler Zay. I'm going to have Tyler just kind of walk through. Tyler, what's the general philosophy behind blogging with real estate blogs? How do we effectively blog? What do we think about from a
so I think so let's make this easy. So let's my argument lately is that like real estate hasn't changed in that basically what you're trying to do with the blog is give to get. So you're trying to give valuable information, be helpful in order to get business. And that underlying principle hasn't really changed since like ever. And blogging is just an effective way to do that because you're able to work on something once that provides value to the end customer, and it's able to live online. And then there are a myriad of tools, video, ads, social media, different strategies, tactics, and things to do with that blog to get people to see it in order to actually provide that value. So I think that, and there are lots of different, the thing is it's like ice cream. Everyone likes a different flavor. Everyone on here on this webinar right now has a different approach to it. So you'll hear all these different like strategies, tactics, topics you can blog about. But I think that might be a good general way to get started. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And Kyle, what are your thoughts? I mean, I'm a big fan of the give to get strategy. I mean, it's really just, bring value, bring value, bring value. It's kind of like Gary Vee talks about, jab, 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 right hook, right? So Kyle, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, my primary purpose of blogging is similar to what Tyler says. You want to give people information, portray yourself as the expert in the field, I guess you'd say. Whether it's talking about helping a buyer, helping a seller, or you're talking about a local market of yours that you sell houses in. You want to, be portrayed as the local expert, the person that if someone's selling a house in XYZ town, that they think of you instantly because that's all you've shown and shown online that's you're the expert, period. So I agree with Tyler. Portray that you have the information, you're giving it for free, and you hope that you get in return business once the time comes. Could be years from now, it could be weeks from now, so you never really know.
Right. Well, and so that brings me to kind of my next question is, one, what do you get long term? There's a couple of things. There's one, what do you get long term, and what does that strategy really end up looking like? How much time, effort, and energy do we have to put into it to actually make it work?
You asking me that question?
Yeah, or any of you, but let's start with you, Kyle. Go ahead.
The number one thing I always tell people when they ask me about my blog and about blogging in general is, how many leads are you getting from it, or what results are you seeing from it? And my answer to them is always, if you're expecting overnight results, that you're going to start a blog, you're going to write an article tomorrow, you're going to post it the next day, and all of a sudden your inbox is going to be filled with all these leads, then it's not the right source for your business or to try to build your business, because it's just not the reality. I'd say my blog, Rochester Real Estate Blog, has been going since December of 2013, so not quite 3 years yet. And really until like the last probably 6 months to 8 months is really when I've seen lots of traffic, lots of lead conversion, people contacting me. And I honestly, I would say at least takes a solid six months to a year to really get on your feet going and to start seeing some results in terms of business anyways.
I would double down on what Kyle just said. Like, if you're expecting to write a blog, make a video, start a Facebook, start anything and get results initially, you're not in it for the right reason. It's to give value long term. But the cool thing is it's kind of like investing or buying a bond or something like that, where you buy it and like today it stinks because you don't get to spend that money on like ice cream, but in the future, that's something that ranks on the first page of Google, or that's something that someone read that knows that they're going to buy a house with you now. So it's kind of like building up an equity of traffic in the future that's going to know, like, and trust you so that they can do business with you. But it's not short-term lead generation at all. It just.
By the way, welcome to Bill Gassett. How are you, brother?
Can you guys hear me?
Gosh. We got a little bit of echo. We got a little bit of delay there. Hold on. Bill's having all kinds of technical challenges over there. Try it now, Bill.
Let me change it on the other computer.
Okay, I just muted Bill out so we could get rid of that wicked echo there. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right, so while Bill's getting his audio figured out, is that better now, Bill? Can we hear you now?
Hold on a second.
Showing us his awesome single Windsor there, a double Windsor there. So, all right, while he's figuring that out, I completely agree with you guys. I mean, it takes a long time to get that blogging strategy working. I was actually really surprised when we started doing the Club Wealth blog. I was thinking that it was going to take me a really, really long time to start getting traction with it. And frankly, I mean, I wish I could, and it's a double-edged sword. I'm glad I don't have to say it took me 6 months to get traction out of it. But the reality is, I'm fortunate. I've got a much more targeted audience, right? So I know who the real estate agents are, and they need the information that we're providing. And so we got that traction really fairly quickly. I mean, our website really just went live in February, and almost immediately we started getting really good traction on it and really good engagement. But I would say for the real estate agents out there, I mean, if I look at Bill and Kyle's blogs, first of all, you guys have awesome content, and I think that, and Tyler, Bill, and all you guys, tell me if you disagree, but I just think the content first and foremost has to be stellar. Talk to me about content. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll go. So I think that you're 100% right there. If it's not engaging, funny, or helpful, then you might as well not publish it, right? So it's to break it down. And if this gets annoying, you stop me. But I like to break it down to like what agents know. Maybe something like flyers or postcards. So you have 3 steps to blogging. Like the first is making it, right? So designing the flyer and getting it printed, right? The second step is not leaving it in the printer tray, right? You've got to distribute it to the people that you're trying to get it to. And the third is conversion off of that. So like step 1 is designing something that's either useful, utility, it's entertaining, as in, like the top playgrounds in your area, whatever, or engaging. And if it's not one of those things, then the rest of like nothing else matters. So the engaging stuff just has to be, it just has to be number one. And every blog, I saw one of the blogs that Kyle wrote that always stands out to me is that the article about Zestimate, where he literally breaks down how either over or undervalued the Zestimate was compared to the sale price of the actual property.
Yeah. And that's and a lot of things like you guys Bill and Kyle you both recently did articles on divorce and real estate. You guys remember those? Those were awesome.
Bill's a little longer. He did his quite a while before mine, but yeah.
So Bill, I just unmuted your microphone again to see if we're able to get you on there without the echo. Are you there?
Am I good now?
You are good now. Apparently we are good to go. Yes. And by the way, Tristan Ahumada, welcome. We got Tristan in the house.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. All right. So, when you guys did those ones on divorce, I'm really curious what your pull-through was on those. And if you could just talk a little bit to the content that you provided in there and how that was really pertinent to that audience and how you're disseminating that information to that particular audience. Or did you just post it on your blog in general and not drive any specific traffic to it?
What do you want to answer?
Either one of you. Jump in.
So, yeah, I wrote that post a very long time ago, and the thought process behind it was, well, I'll step back a minute and just tell you guys that my main focus of my business is working with sellers and not buyers. So a lot of the articles that I write are targeted to that segment of the market. And the thought process was that there's going to be people that are going through a divorce and going to be selling their house. So obviously people get online and they do research and they're looking for somebody that is an expert subject matter on divorce and real estate together. So that was the thought process behind writing the article.
So how have you used that article? Have you driven some traffic to it? Have you, like, I know, for example, we've got a couple of clients that are using Rebo Gateway real extensively. And Rebo, you can get the targeted list of divorce filings in your area. And so they're literally going by and they're dropping off on the doorstep of these folks links to their blog, and they're doing a video based on blogs like you guys did that they're driving back to that blog page for people that are going through divorce. Are you guys doing anything similar to that?
I am not. I probably should do some of these neat things that you're mentioning.
So one of the things that they're finding is the problem with the divorce, like, you can't go after somebody that's getting a divorce. You can't just go straight after them and say, hey, I hear you're going to be selling your house soon. Congratulations on ditching that guy. You know, I mean, that doesn't work. But your blog really addresses a lot of the other things around divorce and real estate. Are you getting traction on it? Are people going to that particular blog, commenting on it, reaching out to you as a result of reading it?
I've had a few.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay. So as an overall lead conversion strategy, as people come to your blog, what are you guys doing to engage and convert that traffic into actual leads?
If I could jump in, I would say that blogging is not direct marketing. And so blogging is a long-term play on getting people to understand that you're the expert in that particular market in a myriad of different topics of real estate, and that if you're looking for direct marketing plays, then you know you're more over on Facebook with direct response ads. Some of the stuff we were saying before the webinar with video and lead generation. But blogging to me is more of a long-term give-to-get thing where I really do not even look directly at the ROI of an individual blog post, because if I do, then I get paralyzed and I stop writing blogs. But it just so happens that somehow people find useful content and end up doing business with you in a very non-direct way. And I'm not sure if Bill and Kyle would agree with that, but that would be what I would say to that.
I definitely agree. I will say to you that typically what happens is somebody will just read my blog and they will just call me and say, Bill, I'm thinking of selling my house. I want you to come over so I can interview with you. That's typically what happens. But yeah, I agree with what you just said. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
we're
Bill.
releasing a video tomorrow with like the same type. Like we just found some, like that's the type of lead you get when you do this over a long period of time. It's very different than direct response where you get 20, 30, 50, 100 leads from PPC that you then have to comb through and basically do an inside sales process with. So they're both legit ways to build a business, but they're very different. And I think Kyle was about to say something. Sorry for jumping in.
Doesn't this one take a lot more to build, though? I mean, you're looking at, because you have a lot of the realtors, they want fast leads now. They want gratification now. What are we looking at time-wise here to build a business just off of blogging or
Well, I mean, like the market decides, right? It's not me deciding. It's not blogging deciding. It's the market. And so I think if you're helpful over the long term, you're going to beat everyone.
All right. How long have you been?
Have some technical knowledge on SEO, because you can write all you want, but if you're not doing what you need to as far as SEO goes, it's going to be a very long, slow process.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that part of the business. There's so many people that are writing articles every day that if you're not doing what you need to on that end of it, it's going to be a waste of time.
Kyle, you were going to say something?
Yeah, it's kind of what Tyler was talking about a little bit. I look at, there's two different ways of prospecting in real estate. There's passive prospecting and aggressive prospecting. In my opinion, something like a blog is more of a passive prospecting tactic. You know, you're providing information. People are learning about you. They're learning about the information and knowledge that you have in the industry. in the hopes that eventually, when the time is right, and again, it comes back to it's not going to be possibly tomorrow. It could be a year from now, that when they are ready to buy or sell a home, and they know you're a real estate agent in their area because they've seen you all over the place for the last year, you're the person they're going to call, or at least give you a call to give you an opportunity to interview for the position. So, when comparing that to sitting at an open house and sitting there and greeting, prospective buyers who, may or may not be able to afford to purchase a home, to me, it's a different type of prospecting. That's more of an aggressive, direct prospecting versus an indirect and a passive prospecting tactic. So it really depends on how you want to build your business, and building a blog for real estate leads and lead generation in business is not a short-term solution. It's just not.
Well, what I'm hearing, the overriding the theme that I'm hearing here is, guys, this isn't something that's the direct marketing strategy, but it's going to make all the other things you do more effective. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. It's a foundational thing.
Right. So it's kind of like radio, right? When we put somebody on the radio and they're gonna do broadcast radio, all of a sudden now all of the other things they're doing are more effective because it's, oh, you're that guy on the radio, and oh, I've heard of you, and it's really more brand marketing than it is direct marketing. Although you do get some direct response out of it, it really becomes more of a brand marketing play. Tristan, you look like you're about to say something.
No, dude, I was just agreeing with what you're saying, but I think at the same time, it is branding initially, but then what we've seen over the years is that it becomes its own source for receiving leads because you become a trusted brand. Now, all of a sudden, 2 or 3 years into it, you're getting people that have seen you all the time, and they're just calling you directly, and it's such a different take on leads. It's kind of like Tyler was saying. The leads come in, and they're totally different. They're like, hey, Tristan, yeah, we're thinking of putting our home on the market now, and it's so completely different. It's amazing.
To piggyback on that, I think the short-term results that agents want are really nearsighted, and probably because someone sold them on the wrong dream when getting into the business. And I think when you're building a business, it's like building the Parthenon, where you've got to build pillar after pillar of ways that people find you in your business, and you shouldn't just have one pillar of getting leads, because if you do, the whole thing's just going to fall over. And this is one pillar we're talking about today, and it can be successful if you commit to it.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we've got a couple of questions from people online I want to make sure that we get to, and I'm going to try and unmute microphones where I can so you guys can verbally ask your questions. So I'm going to go to Sharon Powell. Sharon, are you there? Can you? Is your microphone working on your end?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, what company you're with, and then let's hear your question about the frequency.
Okay, I'm Sharon Powell. I am in Houston, Texas. I work with United Real Estate, and I've been a realtor a little bit over a year now. So I'm looking at blogging and just how often, like in my question, frequency. I've heard and talked to other agents who has blogged in the past, and it's like, oh, it's a lot of work. And I get that. And my concern is, okay, I can set it up so that if on a Sunday evening, maybe write a few blogs and then post them out accordingly. But I don't want to, make it a burden on myself. I just want to make sure that I provide, as you guys have stated, good content, meaningful, coming from a level of contribution.
Okay, so who wants to touch on this? I mean, first of all, let's talk about frequency. How often do we need to blog is part of the question I'm hearing, right, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay. Guys?
Look, here, I'll tell you. This is what we tested out, I would say a couple of years ago. What we started doing with a lot of our agents is, as they go and look at properties, and as I go to Caravan, I would take pictures of properties. And it's such a simple thing to do, to take a picture and then write 3 sentences about a property, including the city and the track or the community. It doesn't have to be something that takes a lot of time, saying, hey, look, there's a great hiking area here. Just make sure that you do it on a routine basis. If you're going to go see an area and it's a community and it has a great park and you're showing that home, It takes 4 sentences, and that's blogging in a sense. Just add a nice picture to it. But you don't have to overthink it, and it can only take 5 minutes, and you're done. And then when you have some time after you've routinely done it, and you get used to it, then you can write a good 30-minute to an hour blog if you're really going to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think the very biggest thing is just start. Just do it. Don't focus so much on, I need to do this length, I have to get this before it's perfect. Just start throwing something together, put an image on there, make a video, just create it and do it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think doing it's better than nothing, and I think it's doing it on a consistent basis. So how about that? How frequently do I need to blog to really begin getting the kind of traction I want to get? Tyler, what are your thoughts on this?
A lot. So, like Bill said earlier, there are blogs for SEO. There are blogs for social media clickbait. There are blogs for advertisements, like the ones that Michael is hinting at with the divorce things. And they all serve a different purpose, and they all are different lengths. And if you try to do them all at once, you're gonna be like one of those snakes with like a big belly, and you're gonna choke and die and not do it long term. And what we all said earlier is that it takes a long term. So do something now, like what Tristan just said. That seems like a really easy way to get started. And then if you like the process and you like this as a pillar of your lead gen strategy long term, then do it and start writing longer posts and start writing posts for SEO that are 700, 1,000, 2,000 words. But getting started is really the first step in anything. So get started there and then start figuring out how to share those blogs on Facebook. And then once you know how to share them on Facebook, figure out Pinterest. And then once you know Pinterest, figure out Twitter or Facebook ads or Instagram, whatever it is. But I think it's best to get started and then go module with it, figuring out one network at a time. But in terms of pacing, I mean, once a week, twice a week, it's really up to how quickly you want to see certain results from this. Obviously, the more you blog, if you blog daily, you're going to get results a lot faster than if you blog weekly. But taking in mind what Bill said earlier, if you're writing content that's 200 words long with a picture, that's not going to rank on Google as easily as something that's maybe 2,000 words long. So it's really a matter of picking your strategy, sticking to it long term, and slowly adding a little bit of tactics on Facebook or Pinterest to that over time.
So that's definitely another piece of the topic is, because we got a lot of people asking questions. I'm reading the online questions here. And we got a lot of people asking about, okay, so for SEO specifically, what do I need to do? How long does it need to be? How many words? And I'm going to lean on Kyle and Bill for this. You guys are doing a lot of blogging. You're doing you're doing big, long blogs in most of your posts. How long are your SEO specific posts?
You want me to jump in first, or you want to do it, Kyle?
Go for it.
So my blogging strategy is probably different than a lot of real estate agents. I think a lot of real estate agents just bang out a lot of posts. My strategy is everything that I do, I want it to be absolutely exceptional. Most of my content is probably between 17 and 2,300 words. So they're not quick, 300 to 500 word posts. I blog once a week. I publish an article every Monday very consistently. And my strategy is to make sure that post comes up in the first page when people search on the topic. And that's kind of been my strategy. Which has changed since when I first got into blogging years ago. When I first started, I was on Active Rain. That's really where I cut my teeth with blogging, and started to realize that there was a huge difference between writing a 300 to 500 word post that nobody would ever see versus writing a 2,000 word post that everybody will see. And that was kind of how I changed my strategy. And
Bill, what platform do you use now?
I'm on WordPress. It's an AgentPress blog.
Perfect.
Are you using Yoast SEO? And that's another, we've got a couple of online questions about that very topic. Are you using Yoast, or what are you using for your SEO?
I am using Yoast, yep.
Yep. That's a great plugin. We use the same one. Tyler, you like Yoast too, don't you?
Yeah, it's good. Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't do your SEO though. I mean, it like coaches you to do like SEO is you putting images, alt tags, using the right headlines, using your keyword in the article, it being long, like Bill said. That's SEO. Yoast is just a coach to make sure you do that in your blog.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So, so by the way, Kyle, do you agree on the number of words? I mean, I remember a conversation you guys had with me earlier and some advice you gave me a couple months ago on, hey man, you really need to be hitting that 2,000, 2,100 words in order to get any kind of SEO value out of it. Is that still the case? Have you seen anything different?
No, it's definitely still the case. It depends on the topic you're writing about. If there's a lot of competition on page one of Google and a lot of quality articles, 2,000 might not be enough to get you, ranking on the first page. But if it's a topic that hasn't been discussed or written about very often or very frequently, then 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 words may do the trick. But ultimately, what I always suggest is don't write just for word count. Certainly, one of the worst things you can do is just add a bunch of fluff into an article just to prolong it out and get it as long as so you can get onto page one of Google, because people won't read it if it's just filled with a bunch of fluff and extra stuff that's really not necessary to discuss a certain topic.
Okay, so I'm dying to know. So when we talk about consumability versus SEO value, where do you put the most emphasis? And this is for all you guys.
To me, it's a happy balance. You got to have a balance of the two.
Okay.
Yeah, I think writing quality content needs to take emphasis over worrying so much about SEO and the number of keywords you're trying to stack it with and the number of links you're trying to pack in there. The first thing is just writing quality content. That's going to take precedence, and search engines on Facebook and Google are just getting better and better at determining what's quality content in terms of what's being shared, how it's being composed and organized. So focusing so much on that tactical aspect can actually take away from the quality of the article.
Okay, so David has a question on percentage of video in the articles. What do you guys think about that? And I think we can expand that to say what percent, how many videos do you want to have in an article? How many images, and what percentage of your articles that you guys are writing have images and or video? Go to Tyler.
All of mine have images.
Bill, all yours do?
Yeah, I typically have 3 to 4 images in all my posts.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say you need 3 to 4 images. That's pretty standard. These days I have a new phrase I've been throwing out. Word count gets you ranked on Google. Video gets you conversions. I think video is the way the internet's moving these days on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I'd say that's like almost undebatable at this point. And what I'm seeing is that if you have a page ranked on Google and then you have a video at the top, most of the people will watch that video, and that is really good for your conversions. But in terms of like the video helping you rank, I don't know. I mean, just one. I don't think that like if you put 10 videos on that page, it's not really going to help you that much more.
So what we've started to do is every single one of our blogs, we do a video. Every single one, no matter what. Some of them will have a short video. So, it might be a 3-minute video, a 5-minute video, but most of them are pretty in-depth. Most of them are going to be a half hour to an hour of really in-depth discussion on that topic, which has really helped me to write the blogs. I'm kind of, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but my cheat for writing the blogs is I kind of come up with my outline, and I'll go to different sources to get, what I think is the best content. I'll combine it into what I believe is my philosophy on it. I take those bullet points. I record a video on the bullet points. Once I've got the bullet points written, then, once I've got the video recorded, then my assistant takes that video, transcribes it, and then I edit it, and then we send it to another editor, and then it gets published. And my assistant, when she publishes it, puts additional images, will create some graphs, charts, all that kind of stuff, puts links in there. We usually like to see about 9 images and at least 4 or 5 links in each of our blogs. Thoughts on that?
Yep.
That's pretty good. And where are you linking it to?
Everywhere. Well, I give you an example. Like on this one, when we post this one, I'll have links to each one of your websites in the blog that we do for this video, and I want to make sure that those links are embedded, as well as at the bottom of the page. We're also doing links. Like the last one we did with Bill and Kyle. Remember, we put little bios for each one of you guys on there, and we had that link go right to your website. Sometimes we're linking back to other pages on our blog or on our website. Are you guys, Tristan, is that what you were getting at, Tristan? Are you doing some of that as well?
That's where I was heading to. You need to repurpose a lot of the blogs that you have that are older, just to get some more traction on those. And also, I mean, all these things that you're doing are great. Are you also posting it up on Facebook and relinking it through there and then boosting those? Yeah, that's a great way of using these blogs that you currently have. If it's about a community, for instance, in real estate in general, if it's about an area, a county, or a city, you could just target that city, that blog, and then you can gain a lot more traction that way. You can even get more users to log on to your blog and subscribe. This just really depends on how you want to do it.
Well, so that's actually pertinent to Kevin. In fact, let me see if I can unmute Kevin's microphone. Kevin, are you there? You had a question about community versus business-oriented blog posts.
Yeah, hi. I'm Kevin from Adam Nelson Realty in Temecula.
Hey, Kevin, welcome.
So that's my question. I was basically, I mean, when we're blogging, what is our content supposed to emphasize more? Is it community-oriented ones that are going to get results more, or is it when we talk about our business more, or what are the people actually like reading our stuff for? That's my biggest question.
Good question. So, guys, Kyle, Bill,
I'll take that one. My strategy is basically that every week I like to put together a topic or an article on a topic that is more just very generalized to real estate, whether it be an article geared towards buyers, towards sellers, financing and mortgages, whatever it may be. So once a week on Tuesday mornings, I publish that article. In addition to that, I also create community pages, information about for people that are relocating to my area. I did one on the local dog parks in Rochester, New York. So it's in addition to my weekly article that's geared more for a general real estate audience or buyers or sellers. Then in addition to that, I do other ones that I work on, and they're not necessarily all at once. Some of them take a month for me to put together. It's coming back to it for an hour or two here, coming back to it for an hour or two here. So really, to me, my strategy is to do once a week a very general article, and then other than that, sprinkling in a couple articles that might be more geared to my local market and local community. At least a couple times a month, I try to.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Tristan, you were going to touch on that as well.
Yeah, I think what we're testing out right now is we're trying to get as localized as possible to take over areas by track. So we know there's a whole bunch of track homes where we live. I'm in Southern California, and not a lot of the searches that you get out there are specific to the tracks based on the name of the track, based on the model of the homes, based on those specific parks, what's there to do in that community. So what we're trying to do is in our sites, we're trying to have different communities, and in those communities, those blogs specific to those communities. This way, 3 years from now, we're able to be on the first page of Google in our area here, where nobody else had even thought about it. Because if they're going to try to do it 3 years from now, it's going to take them a long time because we've got all that data for all that specific area. So the more localized you get now, the better results you're going to get 3 years from now.
Yeah, totally agree. And we have an agent up in Boston who did something similar to Kyle, but instead of neighborhoods, they were literally doing new condo developments. So that they're putting up a luxury condo, and so that condo doesn't have a website. It's not on Zillow, obviously, and so they just put together a Google page for that condo name as a keyword, and they're ranking on the first page of Google and getting luxury condo leads from that directly.
That's awesome.
So it's so like that's one way, and then the other way is like Kyle, the thing Kyle started with, which is topical, and Bill's divorce thing. It's you can go topical, you can go local niche stuff. You can do anything. That's the real thing.
I think wherever your passion is, just go with that, or you're never going to write. You're never going to get to actually blogging.
Well, and it's interesting thing about that, Tristan. I really like where you're going with that, because when you're blogging about stuff that you're passionate about, you're also going to be attracting the type of clients that are going to be a naturally good fit for you. So you're more likely to be able to convert somebody that shares similar interests in you than somebody who's completely on the opposite side of the spectrum from you. So I really like what you're saying there. I think it makes a lot of sense. One of the questions I have for you guys is, Google, we've been reading lately a little bit about how Google's saying, well, if I'm putting the name, like let's say I'm using a development like Quietwater or whatever. If I'm using this development Quietwater and I put that in, and I go buy a domain URL that's quietwaterhomes.com or whatever, we're hearing that the root domain is not having an SEO impact. Are you guys, do you believe that, or does it still have an impact on the SEO?
Yeah, you should just put it on your site and your regular. Like, you should have one site, and all the stuff should be on that site, or unless that's what I think, at least.
Okay.
You shouldn't go buy a bunch of these different domains that's not going to help you.
So how about Tristan Ahumada / Quietwater Homes? Is that, or how would you tag that? Because I think there's some question on what should that URL, what should that long tail URL look like?
Let's take one step back. Let's think, what does Zillow, what do Realtor.com, what do Redfin do?
Exactly.
Do they have a whole bunch of little sites? No. So don't do it. Just make sure you have one site, and that one site needs to engulf all of your communities, all of your blog, everything needs to go to that one site.
So
I have a question. I'm wondering if you're asking something different, which is whether or not your tagline of the page you're creating is going to help you if you have the relevant keywords to the subdivision.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were asking.
Okay, cool. I thought you were saying the actual domain, like on Go.
Well, no, both, because I've got people asking in the comments about, do I need to get that domain URL? So I wanted to throw that out there and tee that up for you guys to be able to answer that. But then the next question is, so if I've got tristanahumada.com and I want to go long tail on the URL, so am I now going to say / Quietwater Homes, or and does that matter to my SEO?
Well, what you got to remember is there's a couple hundred factors. So even if it does, it's going to play a very small role in the overall picture of anything. It can't hurt you. I mean, it's not going to hurt. It's going to help identify the page. But is it going to, put you on the first page of Google because you have that as the name? I don't think so. There's so many other factors that are way more important than that.
Yeah, I think number one, Bill's right, but number one is, you've got to have the quality and you've got to have quantity, and that's where the time comes in. That's where it builds.
Okay, that's huge.
I see it all the time in my local market. Is if you Google Rochester NY homes for sale, you'll find dozens of agents who have IDX searches on their website that are geared to try to capture people with those keywords. But again, it comes to the quality of content on those pages, I think, more than anything. Anybody can create an IDX search, it's a page just for Rochester NY homes for sale, or Boston, Massachusetts homes for sale, or whatever. But it really comes down to the quality of content that's on it.
Right. Well, and that being said, if you believe the Yoast, SEO plugin, then they'll tell you that you got to have a keyword density of about 0.05 to 0.075. I mean, how much value do you guys put in that? I mean, do you put a lot of stock in that? Kelvin's laughing. What are you thinking, Kelvin?
I think it's funny because I talk to Tyler about this all the time, and he's always saying that SEO isn't voodoo. That's one of my favorite phrases that he says. And Yoast puts so much emphasis on a lot of these things that agents focus on so
much. We sound like, sound like a bunch of voodoo magicians right now.
Exactly.
We can cite any formula. But
it doesn't have to be a science.
There are 100 things, and they all help you a little bit, but if it's quality, it's going to rise to the top over time, is my opinion. So yes, you should have that in the URL. You should have it in the title. You should have your keyword probably 3 to 4 times. In the actual article, you should alt tag your images with the keyword probably. You should have a video maybe with the keyword on it on there, and all that stuff's going to help you. But the rest of it's quality over time, and then linking between your stuff too, and linking out. And those are probably the top 5 to 9 things that can really help you rank on Google, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he's right. Tyler's right. And if you want more engagement quicker, because it does take time, make sure you're posting it to Facebook and boosting it, or go to Ads Manager and make sure you're targeting the area that you want.
Yeah, put that video on Facebook, boost it. You can get like 2-3 cent views. Put the link to your blog in the description of the video or in the first comment slot, and you'll get clicks back to your site, and there you go.
That's huge. And is there a big difference in paid traffic versus organic traffic to in terms of SEO value? Is that helping you, or does it not matter? Traffic is traffic.
I don't think
in terms of SEO
traffic. Well, maybe I'm not answering the right question, but here goes anyway. I don't think all traffic is just traffic. It really depends. The quality of people that I think I'm bringing in through the blogging that I've done over the years just seems to be, like I said before, and like Tyler said, they seem to be kind of loyal to you, even though they've never spoken to you. You see that?
I've got a good story about this. If you look at Google Trends, Airbnb, and then you've got VBRO, right? 2 real estate short-term rental sites. Real Estate New York, Short-Term Rentals New York, VBRO was ranking on the first page from like 2008 all the way through like 2012 or something, right? Airbnb wasn't showing up at all, right? They just weren't showing up for that. They weren't focused on an SEO strategy. But if you go look at the Google Trends for number of people searching VBRO and number of people searching Airbnb, Airbnb is a hockey stick and VBRO is like nothing over time. It all goes back to like finding how you can provide valuable content and be the most useful to your audience so that over time they're loyal to you, they're sticky to you, whatever like cliche marketing term you want to use. And then when you make that page like Bill, Kyle do for those neighborhoods and they show up on the first page, not only is it long and has all the right SEO 100 indicators, but it's also useful, helpful, and you're more like Airbnb and less like VBRO in that situation. So I think that it's what it is.
I just wanted to say that I think, in back to what you're saying about paid traffic and organic traffic, actually I had someone I was working with yesterday ask, well, why do I have to focus so much on SEO? Why can't I just create it and then boost it on a frequent basis and pair it with ads? Like, why won't that just work better? And the thing is, with organic traffic, you've created something and you're actually getting in front of somebody who's already looking for the information that you're about to provide them. So you're already getting in at a step in the thought process that's further down than if somebody was exposed to an ad. So organic traffic is more valuable, just seems to convert better than paid traffic.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay.
When we were down at Google in September, one of the huge topics that Google brought up was we need to really start thinking about what people are thinking on the go on their phones. What are they going to be typing? What are they going to be searching for when it comes to real estate, right? And that's where I'd like for most agents to go. And as great as buying leads are, because it gives you the immediate gratification, the immediate leads, this is our business that we need to take back from these bigger companies. And we need to take the time and invest now to create our presence in our area, our communities. And we really need to start thinking, well, what are these people going to think about when they're moving or when they want to buy a home? That's what we need to write about.
Yep.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, I really think we're hearing a lot of, look, it really does come down to the content. And it's not about, do I get leads today? It's just about, look, if I'm constantly putting great content out there, stuff that I'd want to read, and that's, I guess, I think a good place to start. Like, would I want to read this? Would I take my time? If somebody else wrote this, would I take my time to read this or watch that video? Because if the answer is no, I got a problem, right? I mean, it's not getting me where I want to go. And so it's got to be something, and I think one of the places you can judge that is how much of your traffic is repeat traffic. I think that's a very important metric to understand. And I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I mean, I think that is, if nothing else, that's probably, for me anyway, I look at our Club Wealth blog, that's the most important metric I look for. I want to know how many people on a daily basis are coming back to our site. How many people are coming back a second, third, a fourth, a fifth time? How many pages are they looking at when they're there? If they go to one blog post, are they going to our other blog post? That matters to me because it tells me that what we're putting out there is valuable to them and that they want what we're telling them. And so that, which brings me kind of the next. I'm getting this question on our online as well. I'm reading some of these questions as we're going. I apologize if I'm not able to get to everybody's question, but one of the questions was asked, is do I put a site locker on there? So I give them part of the content and then I make them opt in to see the rest of the content. And then as part of that, the next question was, how many lead magnets do I put on a page? Am I throwing all kinds of different opt-in techniques in there? And I'll tell you what I'm doing, and then I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. We don't do that on our site. We just, look, here's the blog. We want you just to have it all. Here's everything we got. And we always, every single blog that we do, we make sure we've got a high-quality download on it, a free download, something that they can get a checklist or additional information that's going to bring value to them, and all they got to do is just opt in to download it, and then we send it to them via email. That's kind of our funnel. I'd love to know what you guys are doing. Are you doing anything similar to that? Are you more aggressive than that? What do you think? Anybody? Nobody?
Okay, look, I'll jump in.
All right.
I'm going to go along with this on the real estate side. When we're looking for leads on the real estate side, forced registration is the way to go, or I wouldn't have any leads on Facebook. And the same way, if people want to go on the site, I allow them to read the article, and at the bottom, once they're reaching the bottom, then it pops up. It's like, hey, register. It's very, very similar to what Inman does. Inman chooses to have 60% of their content for free. 40% is paid. So in essence, it's like 40% of the time, if you want to search for their stuff, read through it, you're going to have to log in. You're going to have to register. In their case, pay for it. In our case, register. So I'd say I feel more comfortable having them register because it gives me a better idea who's on there. Just that's me though.
I like it. It's interesting. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'd agree with that pretty much. It really depends on your strategy. Like, are you going after the long tail SEO stuff and having it out there for free and then with the download, or are you going to have sidebar calls to action, or there are a lot of ways to do lead capture, and it's really just a matter of like pairing the initial way you're getting that traffic with the right lead capture method. If you're boosting the post, you got to give them something. So then maybe they can read 60% of it for free and then sign up to read the rest, right? But if you're doing Google, you need to have a lot of content there for free so that Google crawls it and you get ranked and stuff. So you just got to pair the tactic with the right way that you're getting traffic, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. Bill, Kyle, anything?
Everything's free on my site.
Okay.
No, nothing blocked.
Kyle?
I have a couple pages that I have designed that have a couple call to actions on it. For example, I have an article that I wrote about first-time home buyer programs and grants in my local area, and it ranks extremely high on Google. And about halfway down the page, I designed a little graphic that just says, "Click here for a first-time home buyer's guide." And basically, when they click it, it brings them to a lead capture form. They fill it out, and they get sent to another page that gives them all types of information for first-time home buyers. So, to me, someone who's getting to that page it's probably someone in my local market, probably someone who's interested in the programs, and probably someone who's a little bit further down the line than somebody who's tossed the idea around from a dream they had the previous night about buying a home. They're in that action mode. So, but no, I don't have forced registration for listings or anything like that on my site. I give them all that for free, and they can search homes till they're blue in the face.
Or maybe you could do a combo, because I've seen combos out there where if you want to search for property, you get to see one and then ask you for forced registration. But if you want to go on the blog, it's all free. And that way, when Google wants to search through it, it can, and it can use it, and it benefits you.
You know, and I got to be honest, Tristan, I'm really liking that idea best. And the reason I say it's so there's been this big debate, you know, with Sync and Reba and Boomtown and Real Geeks and all these guys. They're always having this debate about forced registration versus, you know, give them 3 or 4 listings and then forced registration. And the reality is, in terms of conversion, there's no way you can argue the numbers on forced registration. It works. I mean, it just does. You know, I'm not a big fan of it from the standpoint of I like people. I want, you know, for my purposes, I want people to be able to consume my information as easily as possible because my strategy is much more of a longer term strategy. As a real estate agent, though, I like forced registration. I think, especially in terms of searching for homes, I think you need to have forced registration in place. You know, and if you talk to, I mean, Tristan, you use Commissions Inc. You know, if you talk to Dwayne about this, he's really passionate about forced registration and feels very strongly.
I agree with him.
What's that?
I agree with him. I mean, look, we've done studies, and so does he. And even with Facebook, forced registration is the way to go. Or else people aren't going to, if people have the choice of looking at something for nothing, they're going to go for nothing. But if they have to give a little to see a little, they're going to do it.
Well, especially like you said, if you give them a certain, you know, if you give them like you were saying, they give, you know, Inman's given 60% for free, and then when you get down to that last 40%, they're wanting you to register. I think it's a very interesting strategy, and I'm curious, do you guys know of any plugins that work with WordPress to accomplish that? Nobody's got one? Okay. All right, I'll have to look that up. And by the way, several of you have asked if we would give you the links to each of these guys' blogs, and so what we're going to do is when we post this video of this video today, we're gonna put a page on the Club Wealth website, and we'll have links to everybody that you see on the screen right now. We're gonna have links to each of their blogs on that page. So, by the way, guys, if you would do me a favor, if you would email us, you know, you can either email me or email Lizzie at clubwealth.com. And just make sure that we've got the blog that you want to have us linked to so that everybody can see exactly what you're doing. Because sometimes it's just easier to look at, you know, what are you doing? You know, what's actually happening on your blog. All right. By the way, before I go to a couple other questions, does anybody, any of the panelists here, do any of you guys have anything that you want to say or you want to make sure we talk about? We got 8 minutes left on our video here, so I want to make sure that we get to what you guys want to make sure we cover. Nobody's got it. All right, good. So I'm going to jump into some of these questions. All right, so can you blog in Commissions Inc.? I'm going to throw this to Tristan. So tell me how blogging works in conjunction with Commissions Inc., Tristan.
It works great. Do it.
And so how? What are you doing there?
You go to the back end. It works just like WordPress. It's pretty much identical. Use it. Put up a picture. Put up links. Exactly the same thing. I would highly suggest you do it on Commissions Inc. Now here's the drawback. If you ever do decide to leave Commissions Inc., there goes all your stuff.
There goes your blog.
Yeah, so my suggestion is, if you think you're going to be with them for a long time, do it. But I would probably have a separate something that's free, something that you own, that's yours, that no matter what, it's always going to stick to you. You don't have to pay $1,500, $1,000, $500 for a month to keep. Something that's yours.
So, Tyler, that brings me to you. So, with Easy Agent Pro, if I'm doing my blogging on the Easy Agent Pro platform, if I remember right, it's like $500 to start up and then $150 a month, something like that. Yep. Okay. And do I own the domain?
You own your domain and your content. Yeah.
Okay, that's important. All right.
Perfect. So, yeah, that's awesome, Tyler.
Yeah.
That's really important.
I agree. I can't imagine having a blog that I don't.
So you don't like own the lead capture tools that are on your site, but you do own like all the blog posts and stuff. So
right. So you still own the actual text. You just might have to go in and do some adjusting if they moved off your platform.
Yeah. Yeah, probably a little bit,
but not a ton. So that's a big deal. I think that's important. And now, don't you provide people with a lot of blog content? Aren't you giving them like 5 or 6 blogs?
Yeah, and that stuff's more for, that's not going to help you with SEO at all, but that could help you with some Facebook stuff and social media stuff if you want to use that to market. But if you're looking at blogging as a strategy, you should definitely do it yourself.
Okay.
I agree with Tyler. Yeah, that's such a great. The content that they give you is really good to use to put it up on Facebook and capture leads that way. That's great. But for anybody out there listening, if you want the SEO part to work, it's got to come from you because you're the only one.
And that's why we built like our Instafarm page. It's like fill in the blank SEO. Like is try to make it as simple as possible. Where like you don't have to think about all the stuff we talked about. You just paste your YouTube video, paste your content, and then like it coaches you how many keywords to use and stuff. But like you've got to take that time to do that at the end of the day. Like it's just got to come from you. You can't. And so many people ask us like, oh, I'm paying this guy $1,000 a month to do my SEO, and I mean, we don't offer SEO for a reason, and that's because we don't think we can do it for anyone but ourselves.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So Thomas March had a question, and Thomas, I'm unmuting your microphone. Are you there? Thomas March, you got to unmute us on your end, brother. Okay, so Thomas's microphone is not working. His question, oh, there you go. Go ahead, Thomas. We can hear you now. Okay, we lost him. So Thomas's question was, will blogging on Sync and Google with the same article hurt? I'm gonna let you guys jump on this one. So if I have the same blog post in 2 different pages online, Kyle, go ahead.
So I wasn't understanding what you were asking. So so he's basically asking if you post a blog on your website and then on another website, will it hurt it? Is that what he's referring to?
Yes.
That's what he's saying.
Yes. The simple answer is yes. Original content should be placed on your site and your site only. It's a daily battle that some of the active bloggers in the real estate industry are battling, is people stealing their content.
Yeah.
And they don't think they're doing anything wrong, but it can be detrimental to your website because it's possible their site could outrank yours on a competitive search.
That's what lawyers are for.
Oh, true.
Yeah, that is a good point, though, and you're right. And not only that, but the search engines aren't the search engines penalizing you for plagiarism if they think that there's that same content has come from somewhere else, or no?
Google's pretty smart. I believe that they can determine where content was originated. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that a site that steals your content could potentially still outrank you, because I think it's possible.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Go ahead. Who was this guy? That's Thomas March. I think he's trying to chime in, but that's all right. Since we can't hear him, we're going to keep going. All right. So we're going to go to the last couple of minutes here on platform. What's the very best platform to blog on? I've heard WordPress a lot. Are you guys feeling real strongly about WordPress, or is there something else out there you feel better about?
I love WordPress.
Yeah, like WordPress is the most like it doesn't really like matter. I don't think WordPress is just like go with it. Like Easy to Pro is built on WordPress, Conversions built on WordPress. A lot of them are built on WordPress. It's just a matter of the content. Like if you're talking about SEO, if you're talking about Google, you're talking about Facebook. Like it's just a matter of like what you did, not what you did it on, really.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. All right, so here's the last. In closing, I just want to ask each one of you, and Kelvin and Tyler, since you're both with Easy Agent Pro, I'm going to ask Tyler to answer this question for the both of you. But how can we bring value to you? The people that are listening to this today, we appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to help us with this stuff. I think it's been fantastic information. So tell me how we can bring value to you, and then I'm going to ask everybody else the same question. It's to you, Tyler.
To me? Oh, sorry. I thought you were asking Kyle or someone. They just send all these questions to me afterward. I'd love to see them all. I'd love to make a video answering them, throw it up on our YouTube. So, yeah, just send me those questions. That's the most valuable thing.
Perfect. Done. I'll do that. I'll get that to you. Absolutely. Kyle?
I'm always willing to answer questions. I get people emailing me all the time about my website, my blog, and I know Bill was kind enough when I first started getting into the blogging to help me out and give me some pointers, and we still bounce ideas back and forth via email. So I'm always willing to help, as Bill was with me when I first started getting into the blogging world here. So
awesome. Perfect. Sounds good. Bill?
I just want you to link to all my posts.
Right on. All right. Sounds good. So, and Tristan?
Dude, I don't know. If you guys have questions, just jump on Lab Code Agents and ask.
There you go. And lab coats, by the way, I'm assuming you guys are all in a lot of different Facebook groups. I'm hoping that everybody watching this, I know I'm recognizing a ton of the names that are on here. There's some new ones that I'm not aware of. Lab Coat Agents is one of the groups you guys need to belong to on Facebook if you don't already belong to it. The other one that you really need to belong to is the Club Wealth Real Estate Agent Mastermind group. Go belong to both of those. You'll see two very different kinds of conversations happening in both. They're both valuable conversations. A lot of very smart people in both groups willing to help you out with a lot of great ideas. And so please take the time to get engaged in those groups and ask lots of questions and comment in positive, helpful ways in these essentially drama-free groups. We strive really hard to be drama-free, don't we, Tristan?
Oh, dude, we do. We try a lot.
Dude, that's a constant battle. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for your time. You guys are fantastic. We appreciate taking time to do this. And as mentioned, we will get this out to everybody. I've got everybody's email address that registered, so we'll make sure we follow up with you with a link to the blog and to each one of the blogs for the panelists for today. So, again, thanks a lot, everybody. Have an awesome day. And, hey, everybody, remember, you guys are world class.
Thanks, Michael, for having us. Thank you.